Okay, so I was going to do a video focusing on some of the particle experiments I've been doing. And then I saw a video from, I believe, the latest NAB on combining your work in cinema, Houdini, with generative AI. It could be any video that you make and create videos from that. You know, using the generative AI. And the one I chose for the experiment, the ones he mentioned, was Kaiber. As you can see, I did 3 videos so far. This was the first. I think this is my favorite, except for the fact that following what he did in his video, I output it in viewport mode, and that left these, it didn't take advantage of some of the stuff I had done, plus it left the lights, as you can see in here, and what happens when you go over it tells you what your prompt was. So basically you combine a video with a prompt, and the problem with these two is I didn't really get the stadium effect because I already had a background. So I think if you want to, it's kind of, at least from what I can see, you do want, if you want some kind of background, you want to kind of generate your object, in this case my animation, separate as just on its own. But at any rate, so we have these 3, and basically what you do when you create a video is you upload, you have 2 options, a flipbook and a motion. Now, motion is where you take one image and then it adds to it. So if you select this, you can only begin with an initial image. So we can see let's see what happens here. Upload. So I can go to someplace where I do have an initial image. Let's do where I can find stuff. There we go, way to the top here. So let's look at, where did it go? Particles. And then I have, let's pick it should be, I don't know if it's going to take this, because it may not take EXR. Okay, so it does not take EXR, but anyway, you can put in an image. I think I do have one that I dumped it out, I think. So you want to dump it out in PNG. You don't want to use EXR. You can see I have those lights in there, so it's not great. And let's see, we can, I'm going to just say in a stadium at night. Now this one I've only done the video one before, so let's describe details, and I'm going to do cinematic. And we're going to do here, and it's going to generate previews for you. So it's going to go off and do that, and but let me see if I can what I can show you. This is a cinema file, and this was based on another tutorial where I think it's Lucas Thorpe's, where he used thinking particles and a matrix to generate a particle system. So using, he also used Espresso, and this handles the forces. If you look at the force one, this will take your pyro output. And this is where you handle the birth, the surface where it's coming from, and then join those together. So I'm not going to go into details on this here. He goes into pretty much details on this in his video, which I'll put a link to. So I used his method to generate a particle video. And then I also set up a very simple particle system in Houdini that I don't think I can show you at the second because I am printing out the video. I'm rendering it, so it will not let me change to it. But this here is the Solaris, which I also wanted to experiment with, where you had, took the particle system in here, and I added materials. Now, materials are pretty interesting how you do in Solaris, using their material X, and then you assign it. I also included a dome light and a camera, and the end results, of course, in Houdini, you could render you have total control over your particles, and so if you can learn particles in Houdini, you can pretty much do whatever you want with them. But getting back to this, notice it gave me two different images here. So let's see. Which one I like better? So let's pick this one and let's create a video. Now again, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to go generate it. And, just like I saw with the other videos. So basically what you're doing here is you can take your artwork and you can combine it with AI and end up with some new video. So it is interesting. Gives you something to look at. I do believe that there is a place for AI in art as an assistant to the artist. In other words, the artist has their vision of whatever they want to make, and then the AI is kind of a partner in that. Now you see, I can't even see my animation in here, or my initial item in here. So I'm not sure what this got me. Because I did upload an image and I'm not seeing any of it. But go back. Yeah, you don't see it anywhere. And this, like you see it in the first, if I take I'm not quite sure what the deal is with this. It's new, so if you want to use this one, this is the only one I've experimented with so far. What I'd say is take the parts that you want incorporated and only render those out, and I don't necessarily agree when he said you can use a viewport render, because you're not getting, at least with this animation, not only you're not getting exactly what you should be getting, because notice I'm getting the squares and not the geometry that I put in here, but you've got this stuff going on here with the lights. So you know, it depends. I mean, if I wasn't adding another geometry as part of my render, if the lights were out of the picture, because, when you're rendering in any of the renderers in Cinema, of course you can hide the lights, you don't see them. So it's really a combination of the type of render, and where a viewport render for this particular thing was not appropriate. So you have to be aware of stuff like that. Check what you are actually sending to the AI. I mean, but I think this is going to look really cool if I just get an out render of the particle system and do it that way, and then put it out and stick it in here. I think I would get something like this, which is actually pretty cool. So there were other ones that he mentioned. This was just the first one on the list, and of course this is a whole new growing field. I don't think the AI is going to take over for artists. I think it's going to be, again, just another tool. When photography came about, people said, "Oh, this is the end of, painting and this and that." Well, it wasn't. To this day, many people paint and do traditional art with traditional materials, with acrylics or oil paints or watercolors or what have you. So photography didn't get rid of that. And it just became a different way of expressing someone's artistic vision. And it's the same thing with this. It's just going to be another option for expressing your artistic vision. And again, the other thing that it does is it gives you ideas. You can use it to generate some ideas, and it's what I've always felt about things like Midjourney and something like this. You can generate different things and get an idea and implement that. See what it does. Take a simple figure and give it different prompts and see what the tool comes up with, and then take that back and run with it. Like again, this one here, I had a cloud background, a cloud-like background, so it took that and this one, let's see. And you can see this now. This is actually not too bad. I think the clouds with the animation are maybe a little too busy, but as I said, I'm going to try it again just with the generated stuff, which is now on 126 out of 600. So what I think I'm going to do on there is I'm going to stick it in DaVinci, put it out in the slow-mo without a background, and then stick it into here and see what comes out, see what I can come up with. And of course, while we're talking about this, I want to show you, I'm going to bring up, this is going to, I probably should shut down Cinema right now because it is going to have too much. Let's save that. All right. So I'm going to bring up DaVinci because I want to show you something. This is another thing I saw that I thought was pretty cool. Let's load this. And this is where the cloud background came from. If it loads. Like I say, I got stuff going on here, so I am sure my machine is kind of unhappy with me now, what I'm doing to it. And what, you want me to render and you want me to show 3 other programs? Yeah, and record video and render at the same time. So, what I saw a video on is they have some interesting tools in DaVinci where you can bring in. Now this one, yeah, I know what I did here. I used the noise gradient. Let me go back to my edit, because that's where I used the noise gradient, and the contours is disabled. I didn't like that. It was too busy. And then I put a solid color behind it, but this is some of the stuff in effects. Let's see. You have the noise distortion, and in generators, oh no, this is the noise gradient here. And you also have the ability to put in effects. I think what I might have done here is put a noise distortion. Let's see what we got here on this. Let's see, effects. Yeah, so I had a noise gradient, and then I put a noise distortion on to get this background. And this gave it a little bit of color. This is a pink. And then, of course, I have my particle animation, so it looks like, it should look like, let's see if we can get it to play. Oh, it's at the end. So let's go to the beginning. And so you can see that's why I was getting that whole cloud business going on. And again, the contours were a little too busy because I'm having an animation and this background that's very heavily moving. This moves a little, but not so much where it, you know, it looks crazy. So what I plan to do is I actually have another version of the Houdini is the one I'm rendering, where I replaced I had little spheres with something a little football shaped that I made in ZBrush real quick. I actually tried it twice. I tried taking a cylinder. That didn't work so well. It worked better when I took a sphere and then pulled it out that way and got the football shape. I thought that would look nicer. So again, by putting these things together, you can do a lot. Again, the next thing I want to do once I have this rendered out is I want to pull it in to make it a video and pull it into this this Kaiber and see what I come up with. You can see that was definitely inspired by what we were just looking at. And it has absolutely nothing to do with my prompt. Well, yeah, no, that's not true, actually. If you look at the bottom, you kind of see stadium-type stuff down here. Let's see if I could... I saw something that looked like stadium stuff, but it's so overwhelmed by what I had in my background that it may as well not even be here. Yeah, I know I saw something stadium looking in here. Yeah, it's just overwhelmed by the background. But I think if I did it without the background, again, in this case, you can see there were spheres. I don't know if you can. Anyway, hopefully this has been useful. The basic point is you can combine a lot of things as I did. Oh yeah, you see a little, in the background, you see little stadium type things poking up. You can take your animation. You can combine it with backgrounds in something like Resolve or in After Effects if that's your program of choice. Or you can take something and put it into these new generative AI programs and get some interesting results, as we've seen. I think again, my favorite one is this, but I need to do it again with the proper animation. Do it with not the viewport mode. Do it with, actually I can try it with both the full animation from the cinema version and the full animation from the Houdini version, and see which one I like better. So anyway, hope this has been helpful, and I'll speak to you next time. Take care.